dragged it up off the road here a bit so we're safe. Obviously done a set of bearings, they're completely cooked. The axle still looks okay in there, which is good, and the hub, so basically, and the rim looks okay. The guard's hammered, so I'm just going to get the grinder out, cut that off, get the lump hammer and smash that back. Jack it up, take the wheel off, and then I need to try and get this rubber, this tyre, off the rim because my spare is in pieces as well. So I need to get the, I've got a good tyre and a good tube, but I need to get this tyre off the rim and put the other one back on, which is hard to do without a machine. Miles, back here mate. So yeah, I'd say that's going to take all afternoon and I'm going to have to camp out. You know, I've done about 500 kilometres today, and probably the last 400 kilometres I don't think I've seen anyone. Morning guys. So this is where we camped last night, literally on the side of the road. Give you guys a bit of an idea of where we were. It's probably the worst camp I've ever had, like worst camp spot, literally on the side of the road. But I mean, it's still pretty beautiful. We're up here in Cape York. The trees are full of birds, there's wildlife everywhere. I mean, I've camped in worse spots, I suppose. Like, it's pretty average on the side of a road, but we're still in Cape York. Every day is good in Cape York. My favourite time of day. It's just beautiful. The sun's just poking up. But basically, today, we need to sort the trailer out. This is what I did last night. I got the new, well not new, but a spare tyre onto the rim. Got the tube inside, but the valve is a bit buggered, so I'm hoping it will get me to Weipa. Bent the guard back up, and the only thing I've got to do is get a bearing buddy with a cap for this to stop the grit getting in, so I'm going to make something up now. Bit of bush mechanics. Pack away our tent. This is where we slept last night. Pretty average, but here's Marley boy. There you go mate. Hey, good buddy. I'm still tired. We had a big night last night. So anyway, I'm going to pack everything up, make a coffee here with a jet boil, and get on the road. And I'll see you guys up the track a bit. I'm just checking a couple of things here. Just packed a bit more grease in. I can actually feel that the bearings I've put back in, which were the old bearings from a while ago that I kept as spares, there's a bit of a bump in it. Now I don't know whether that's the, like I said, the axle had that little ding in it, or whether it's these bearings, but I'm just hoping it gets me to the next, or to somewhere where I can buy some new wheels. Alright, but what I wanted to show you was this bearing buddy. This has normally got a cap over it here. What I'm going to do, this is just the cap off of some lithium grease. I'm just going to put that over, but it's a little bit big. So I've ripped up some strips here, and I'm basically going to roll this up, put it over the hub just as a packer, and then slip that over it, and then zip tie it. I might put a slit through here so the zip tie goes through the slit, and zip tie it on, and hopefully that will work. Just putting a bit of grease around the hub here so the cloth sticks to it. and create a bit of a barrier for stop the dust getting into the cap. So this is what I'm using, just a bit of rolled up rag. There we go, it sticks on there. And then this is my cap with a zip tie through it. Alright, well that's it. So that's zip tied on there. I've filled the little slots with grease to which are the dust will just stick to that and stop it going through. If you want to purchase yourself a bearing buddy like this, you go to wildreaches.com.au and they're $19.95 on there. Nah, just kidding. But hopefully that'll do the job. Get us up the road a bit, and hopefully that little bump, which is going to haunt me the whole way to Weipa, gets us to Weipa. Alright, see you soon guys. I just came down this little dip here and there's a beautiful blue tongue lizard. I wanted to keep going because I'm worried about this tyre, you know, I want to get to Musgrave, but at the same time I want to show you this guy because he's stunning, he's quite big, and his markings are amazing. Look at this guy. Hey mate, how you going? Show us your big blue tongue. He's puffing, you hear that? So this guy's trying to make himself look really big, but he was laying out here in the sun. Being a reptile, they're cold-blooded, so they're trying to get all the warmth. Look at the markings on him. He'll get his tongue out in a sec. We're just going to let this guy go. I don't want to bother him too much. Good to get him off the road anyway. Someone else will come down this dip here and just run him straight over. I just wanted you to get a look at him. Now these guys aren't dangerous. They do bite, but they're not dangerous. But I want you to see his blue tongue. Hey. Anyway, I'll let him go. Yeah, so it's the first reptile for the morning. So I like driving early and late into the afternoon because you see way more on the road, a bit more exciting, you know. So this tyre, yeah, it's holding up so far. We haven't gone far, but it's holding air pressure, which is good. Hopefully we're going to make it to Musgrave, no issues. Now, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet. I've been thinking, hey boy, do you see that blue tongue? I've been thinking about maybe dropping the trailer at Musgrave, leaving it there, and then heading over to the east coast for a land-based fish. Maybe hike into that lagoon that Dan and I did recently, because the weather's getting a bit warmer and the fish should turn on in there, whereas last time we were there the water was cold. Well, the water wasn't cold, but it was cold for them. So anyway, I'm going to spin around here, and this looks like a good spot, and get this trailer to Musgrave. And either way, I've got a full tea. Yeah, either way, I'm going to get the trailer sorted and then show you guys some action, get fishing, because I'm itching for it too. I know you guys are, and I just want to get out and do something fun, do some cooking and cook up some fish, popcorn barra. Anyway, alright, see you guys down the track a bit. Oh, I'm just coming up to to a mob of pigs. I just showed you that blue tongue only just down the road. Here we go, spin around. That's a mob of feral pigs. You can see the little tiny sucker there. Get close, ready? Here they go. Look at that. I say how cool is that, but not really. They're introduced species, and they do a lot of damage to our wildlife, our waterways, our flora and fauna. But for some reason it's still cool to see them, because they are. I mean, they're still wildlife, they're just not native. Yeah, in the middle of the day, those pigs will be wallowed up in some mud somewhere, or in the shade just resting, and early morning and then all night they're out feeding, moving around. So pretty cool. Well, it looks like we're just coming up to the Peninsula Development Road here now, so that's it, we made it. We made it down that track that I've never been on before, and I still don't know the name of it. Now, I think it was the Normanton to Dimbulla Road to begin with, which does a big loop and comes out of Chillago. And then I turned off, where did I turn off? I turned off and started heading north from there to Musgrave, basically. I think that road was something Ortina, and bloody hell, it's hot in here. I can turn the aircon on. So yeah, a bit of carnage with that tyre, but we made it to the other end. I wouldn't really recommend it. Depends what you're doing. I mean, if you've been to the Cape before and you just want a different experience and come up a different way, depending on what time of year you do, like if you want to do a sort of, well, we're in October now, but like August onwards, I'd probably, you know, you're a family and you're towing a van and you just want to cruise up the Cape, I'd do it. You know, it's something different at least. But if you want an adventure, you know, kind of what I want to be doing, it was pretty average. The Mitchell River, we crossed the Mitchell. I didn't film that, but it was epic. It was huge, big, long crossing, and the Mitchell is a huge river up here on the Cape, lots of power. Got me thinking that I'd like to do another trip like our Wenlock one with a tinny. Maybe put it in there, because I spoke to the station owner there, and she seemed or the station manager, she seemed really nice. So I'm thinking we could probably park up the utes at the station, put the tinny in, and float down the river. You know, 6 days on the river, that'd be epic. There'd be some big crocs in there, or there'd be some big barramundi. So that might be on the cards for next year after the wet. That's the thing with that road, is that it's blocked off a lot of the year. It's flooded, so the Mitchell obviously completely floods, but there were so many dry crossings that I crossed. I reckon 30 or 40 crossings yesterday that were completely bone dry, like not just like dust, like bull dust, you know. Like it's truly amazing up here how it changes from the wet season to the dry season, and that road in particular is very low lying, and if you look on the map, there's lots of little feeder creeks that feed into huge big river systems, and it's basically, you know, it's the Gulf, it's quite low, whereas the Peninsula Development Road that you normally come up from Cairns towards Cooktown and then Laura and up is it's on the eastern side, it's a lot higher. Still got big rivers, but it's just not low lying like the west coast. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it a bit earlier in the year, I think, when it is still wet, a bit more of a challenge. So we'll write that one down, and maybe next year me and Dan will explore it properly. But yeah, here we are, we're back on the PDR. Musgrave, I think, is about 25 kilometres up the road. I think I've still got air in my tyre with that dodgy valve. Yeah, it's still up, got enough air, and the bearings are holding in for now, so happy days. I'm going to push on to Musgrave and then get out and have a good look at it. We're back to a bit of, not traffic, but like, here we go. First car I've seen in, oh, well, I saw a car yesterday morning, so 24 hours. Alright, let's get going. we just stopped in Musgrave and had a good look at the tyre, and nothing's changed in that 70, well, we just did about 70 odd kilometres to get to there, so it's about 300 kilometres from here to Weipa, and I've decided just to go straight there, which sucks. So many good spots to explore along the way, but you know, you got to take care of these things, and it's a lesson, you know, it's a lesson in all this, is that you don't leave home without good quality gear. Like I was saying the other day about, you know, your wheels are and your suspension are what's between you and the road, and you know, it's just such a crappy little boat trailer that I just haven't wanted to put the money into it. I'd rather do a custom made trailer, and I suppose this is going to make the change. You know, now I'm going to head home and do a custom made trailer. But yeah, you always got to carry at least 2 spares that are ready to go, not one in pieces with a dodgy valve, and have good quality gear in the first place. So yeah, off to Weipa, 300 kilometres, so let's see how we go. I'm just going to give these jet boils a quick wrap again. For all of you who don't know what it is, this is a jet boil. Look how windy it is. Like, it's fairly blowing out here, and this jet boil just boiled my water in about 20-30 seconds flat in the wind. Just not an issue. You try and get one of those little butane gas cookers going in this kind of weather, it'll take like bloody 5 minutes to boil, and there goes all your gas. These things are just a godsend on the road. You know, you make a cup of coffee in a minute flat, and then I'm just going to have some eggs. I'm going to boil a few eggs in there, and apparently it's 8 minutes. And Dan and I found this out in the Wenlock on our last trip. We forgot we had eggs, and then we found them at the bottom of the boat until like the 3rd day in, and we hadn't caught a fish, so we sat in the bank. We had no idea. We knew how to boil eggs, but no idea how long to leave them in there. And they were amazing. So there's such good food on the go, like good protein. And so yeah, I'm going to boil 3 eggs in here. Should take 8 minutes hopefully, and get back on the road. So the good news is we are 100 kilometres from Weipa. So we've made some good ground. We've done about 240 odd kilometres. The bad news, this is my other side, this is the driver's side. I've just greased it up, but we've lost the bearing buddy off this side now. I felt a bit of a knock, so I've quickly pulled over, and you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but the bearings let go inside, so haven't done a tyre yet, luckily. Luckily I felt that knock and I've pulled over, so what I'm going to do, in the shade there, I think I'll just do it here. I'm going to jack it up, take the wheel off, assess the bearings, swap them over if I have to, and then make up another dodgy bearing buddy, another cap. I've got to find another lid. My WD-40 can doesn't have a lid on it, so okay, so I've just jacked it up, tried to spin the wheel, as you can see. Those bearings are shot. Luckily I've got a bag here with some more old bearings in here. I'll have to repack them with grease. Hopefully I can find one that's in a reasonable condition, and we can get these other 100 kilometres out to Weipa. I'm absolutely amazed by this. 2 sets of bearings in less than bloody 24 hours. Here we go, look at this. I just dropped the hub off, and these bearings literally just fell out onto the track here. So the back bearing's shot, the front bearing seems to be okay. So I'm going to rummage through the bag here and hope to find, I'm going to punch all this off, take all that back out, and put the new bearing on and leave the front bearing in hopefully, and at least that'll get us to Weipa. We're not far out now, so. so that's that done. New set of bearings in there, all greased up. They should be both good to go. Lucky I got to that when I did, because that back bearing was completely shot. Like you saw, it fell out all over the road. I reckon another couple of kilometres up the road and it would have been the same outcome as last night. Tyre just destroyed and all over, game over. So the other tyre is looking a bit sus. It's losing air. Got 100 kilometres to go. I've got to get a cap, like a bearing buddy on that driver's side wheel, or it's just going to suck dust in again and have the same issue again. And that's my last set of bearings. So I'm going to put you down, make up a cap and get on the road. Well, same idea as this morning. Just got the bottom of a bottle here. Put the slits in it, 2 slits each side, there and there. Pass the zip tie through, and that's going to go straight over that. Zip tie it up, pull it tight, and that'll keep all the dust out of there for the rest of the trip. So hopefully that's it, no more bearings. Absolute paradise. Now we're on the west coast of Cape York, Gulf of Carpentaria. Like I said, the sunsets here are just magical. Look at this. We've still got about half hour, so I'll have a chat and let the drone up. Go for a walk, hey? Been stuck in the car all day, or several days. Look at this sunset, guys. We're in absolute paradise. We've made it to Weipa, which today is a paradise to me, after the dramas that we've had to make it here safely. But Weipa is in the Gulf of Carpentaria, which is home to some of the best sunsets in Australia. So you're about to witness some beauty there. I'll send the drone up in a sec. But just wanted to have a chat about today and yesterday. What a crazy couple of days. We haven't done any fishing, which is really frustrating. We tried to get into certain spots, but sometimes, you know, that's what it's like up here. You can try and you just get rejected. And we did 900 kilometers on dirt since yesterday morning, and this time last night we did a set of bearings on the side of the road and ripped a tire to shreds. Now all I had to fix that was a tube and a tire. And the story behind that is, I've got to tell you guys this, and it's something that I realised a long time ago, and it's always stuck with me now, is to trust your gut instinct. When we're in Normanton, so long story short, we were in Normanton to have a tyre swapped over because I realised that the valve on one of the trailer tyres was leaking. So went back to Normanton, asked old mate there to swap the tyres over. So I wanted the tyre off the spare, because the spare rim was shot. So I wanted the tyre and the tube, which were good, off the spare, and put them onto the good rim, which would leave me with an old tube and an old tyre. That old tube's got a shot bloody valve in it, so it wouldn't hold air. Anyway, so he did that for me, no worries. And then I said, mate, what are we going to do with the tyre and the old tube? And he said, chuck it in the waste, mate, it's no good to you. I said, okay, threw it in the pile of tyres. And anyway, I drove away, made myself a coffee, and it was just eating away at me. I was thinking, you know, we've got 500 odd kilometres up to, on a track I've never been on before, at least, no, it was about 600, to a track I've never been on before, let alone pushing into all these spots I wanted to go and try fish. And sorry, just keeping an eye on miles here. We are in crop country. Without a spare. So spun around and went back and said, mate, I'm just going to take these. I know they're buggered, but I'll make do. So I threw it in the back of the ute, and it gave me peace of mind. Instantly I was like, oh, at least I've got something. And then, so this time last night, we did the bearings and the tyre, and I didn't have a spare, right? Middle of nowhere. And so what I've had to do is, the tyre that was on the rim was that damaged, it was like ripped to shreds. You guys saw it. So I had to pull out my angle grinder, battery grinder, cut the rubber off that rim, and then pull it apart, and then fit the new tube, well, not the new tube, the spare tube that had the dodgy valve, remember, and the spare tyre to that rim. And then this took me, so I did the bearings, no worries, but this bloody tyre took a long time. All I had was what was in the cruiser kit, you know, that comes with your jack and everything. I'll just walk back to the cruiser now, try and capture this sunset. It's starting to go down quickly. So that's all I had, was just a wheel bar to bloody get the tyre onto this rim. So anyway, got it done. I actually had some glue in the ute, and I glued the valve back in, and thinking, like, you know, at least I'll get myself to Musgrave, which is about 70-80 kilometres. And got to Musgrave, made some calls on the sat phone this morning, worked out a few things, and then tried to make it back to Weipa, which thankfully we've made. And about 100 kilometres out of Weipa, we did the bearings on the driver's side, and luckily I picked it up really quick. I felt it happen, jumped out, swapped them over. So then I had no more bearings, no more spare tyre, no more tube, and we just rolled into Weipa about 40 odd minutes ago, and I'm so happy to be here and just be safe and not be on the side of the road. I just want to get a good night's sleep and chill out. But yeah, so the moral of the story is, if I didn't have that spare tube and the tyre, which were basically buggered, I would have been stuck on the side of the road there last night, and I couldn't have fixed anything. So always trust your gut. Like, something was inside me was just really eating away at me, and I believed it, and went back and got it. Marley, up here, come on. So yeah, moral of the story, trust your gut, and always carry as many spares as you can, spares and tools. You know, I learnt my lesson today. I had some bearings that I'd pulled out of the trailer originally. It didn't have much wrong with them, and in a bag. From now on, I'm going to carry 2 brand new sets of bearings. Like, you know, I had a tub of grease, I had all the tools to do the job on the side of the road, and I would have been in a lot of trouble without it. So here we go, look at this, the sun is looking spectacular. Marley's here with me watching it, and I'm going to grab the drone out of the back, send it up, and that's going to be it for another episode, guys. Sorry we haven't done any fishing yet. I'm just as bummed as you guys are, but it's all to come. I feel better now. Now we're in Weipa. That whole trip just seemed like up that road I hadn't been on before. I was really excited about it, but everything was turning us away. And sometimes I suppose you just gotta, that's what happens in remote places. You get these issues like we had with the trailer, because it's pretty serious, you know, 9 hours on heavily corrugated roads. You get issues like that, and you just got to take care of them, because otherwise you're in a lot of trouble. You're on your own out here. So it's good to be back in Weipa. You know, there's people. Someone just drove by then. There's people around, and get these things sorted. There's a mechanic here, and there's a tyre little. Well, I wouldn't really call it a tyre shop, but there's a guy here that you can buy tyres off, and hopefully I can get something for this trailer and get back out and do some adventuring. Really excited for that, so stick with us. Yeah, like I said, that's a wrap for another episode. Make sure you subscribe. Please tell all your friends. We're starting to grow, which is really cool, but you've got to hit subscribe. You've got to tell all your friends, share it around, and this will just keep growing and getting better and better. So oh, look at this. Oh my god. I'm telling you, best sunsets in Australia. All right, I'm going to get the drone up. Ew.